Hello fellow bookworms, it's Katie. So today I'd like to talk to you about Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. This one is part of the DC Icons series where like famous YA authors write about the characters of the DC universe. Other books that have come out or will be coming out soon are Batman by Mary Lou, Catwoman by Sarah J Maas, and Superman by Matt de la Peña. So the plot is as follows. We start off at Themyscira with Diana. She is very young. I don't think they definitely say her age in the book, but I would say she's something like 17, 18 years old. She is a little bit not really of an outcast. She feels definitely inferior to the other Amazons and feels that she's not part of them, that she's not as strong as them, because she is not battle tested. She's never been to a fight, and all the other Amazons have died, and through the mercy of the gods have then been granted immortality on Themyscira. But Diana feels very strongly that she does not really belong to the Amazons and desperately wants to prove her worth to them. So we start off on Themyscira. Diana is preparing to take part in this race. The race doesn't go as planned. As she's racing along the coast, Diana sees a shipwreck on the cliffs that surround Themyscira, beyond the border that is protecting the island from the outside world, and she jumps into the water and saves a girl called Alia. And Alia turns out to be not just any kind of girl. She turns out to be a Warbringer. She is a descendant of Helen of Troy, and soon Diana and Alia have to find out that there are a lot of parties interested in Alia's life, and a lot of parties want to harm her or even kill her because she is about to bring a new age of war to the world. Involuntarily, it's just her blood. She can't really do anything about it. It's just her heritage. And now Diana and Alia have to find out how to divert this fate of destruction and war and battle and bloodshed and yeah, that's the plot. So I have to start again with my expectations, because this book exceeded my expectations by far. I was a bit worried. I had read a lot of reviews that said they loved the book, and I was very hopeful that I would love this book, but it's a risk, writing about a godlike character as Diana is always a risk. I was a little bit worried that this would be a little bit how do I describe it? I was a bit worried that this would be ridiculous and very tropey and just not very good. So yeah, I went in with very low expectations, therefore. But my expectations were exceeded, as I was completely surprised and blown away by this book, and here are my thoughts. The greatest strength of the novel lies in the characters, especially in the dynamic between the characters. They all felt like real people. They were all authentic throughout the book. And I love to see genuine friendship between female characters. That is something that I feel is often not the case in YA. I feel there's a tendency towards change in that aspect, but I too often I see people hating on beautiful girls just because they're beautiful, or beautiful girls being portrayed as the biggest assholes in the world because they're beautiful, which is mind-blowing and stupid in my opinion. But anyways, especially considering that Diana is such a beautiful person. It's not portrayed as something, Diana doesn't want that, and Alia and Nim do not hate her for it. That's it. And I loved seeing that. The book definitely managed to humanize this godlike Wonder Woman character. Because if you think about it, it's and I'm speaking from experience, I try to write about this strong, super smart, beautiful character. it's very difficult because you have to find an angle, a hook that makes, you know, people like us, like we are not godlike creatures, but people like us empathize with her and, you know, so that we can identify with her. And the book managed to do that perfectly. I definitely felt myself being on board with the characters. I definitely felt myself worrying and being invested in the characters. The plot is very straightforward. If I compare it to something like Nevernight, which was another 5-star book that I've read recently, another 5-star YA book, it's not as deep and complex as, for example, Nevernight, but honestly it didn't bother me at all. It's a very straightforward plot, and you know, sometimes that can be fun too. It's very fast paced because you're in the story from the first page on, but I also felt like the ending was a little bit rushed, and I would have found it, you know, I would have wanted a little bit more closure. It's nothing too special, like it's a pretty generic good versus evil. So the plot is nothing spectacular or different or complex or deep, but it's still a lot of fun. Now let's talk about the world building for a little bit. I don't really know how to describe the world building in this book other than it is very comic booky. So what I mean with that is that there's a problem, like there are the protagonists are presented with a problem, and somebody always has a solution for any kind of problem. There's always a solution. There's nothing that isn't solvable. And so I felt that was very comic booky. Also, like, okay, we have a problem, so we have to go there and do this to solve this problem, like that kind of thing. The world building also doesn't expand beyond the stories. Do I wish there was a little bit more complexity to the world and depth? Yeah, maybe. It didn't really lack, you know, I didn't really need that. I wasn't really thinking like, I wish that there was a little bit more of, you know, world building here. So to writing, I have not read anything of Leigh Bardugo's other works, so I cannot compare it to anything. So I don't know if it is better or worse than her usual writing style. However, I have to say that I found it was good writing style. You know, nothing outstanding. It's straightforward. It's pretty plain sometimes. Like everybody says what they want to say. Like there's nothing there to interpret. That didn't bother me as well. Like I didn't need that, you know? It fits the story, is what I try to say. And now to my personal opinion and thoughts. I gave this book 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. This book was damn inspiring. Like, there were so many lines where I just sat there and yelled like, yes, girl, yes! There were even tears on occasion. There were just like, out of the blue, out of nowhere, like, there was a passage where Nim was saying something and it just hit it just hit home with me. It was so close to some of the struggles that I'm feeling right now, and I just sat in my bed and totally unexpected started to cry, and I was like, yes, this was just exactly what I needed to hear at this moment. So this is what I mean with the plain writing style and the straightforward writing style. There are these sentences that are cheesy, but sometimes you just need to hear these things, and, you know, being told that specific thing is like, that was really, really good for me, at least. And I was definitely invested in the characters. The dynamic between the characters was easily my favorite part of the book, and I was so worried in the end that they would not survive. Like, there was anxiety, and I stayed up until 2 a.m. because I needed to finish reading the book because I needed to know what happened to the characters. So this book is a fun, quick read that takes you on a ride. It's very readable. You can read it very fast. It's very fast paced. It's fun. It has great characters. With all of that, it definitely exceeded my expectations. I gave this book 5 stars. I'm hopeful that there will be other Wonder Woman books. I definitely would read them. I don't know if I would check out the other books. The only book that I would be genuinely interested in would be Catwoman, but unfortunately that is written by Sarah J. Maas, and I just don't think her writing is that good, so I'm not going to read that. I would recommend this book for people who love YA books. For if you want to read a book with great characters that you can get invested in, if you want to read a book that is very fast-paced, that's very quick read, fun, then yes, I would definitely say check this book out. It's great for that. But if you want to read something with a little bit more depth, maybe look for another book. You lovely bookworms, that was it for today. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend, and I hope you're reading something magical. I will see you soon. Bye!